Journalism, in its most pure form, is the gathering and sharing of factual information. Throughout human history, how that information was shared and the function of journalism has changed and evolved with the demands of the times. News coverage has served as a way to record history, communicate local events, highlight important political topics, spark social interests, and even to entertain. With the birth of the print press, news could be circulated widely. People turned to newspapers to provide them with timely, factual information on topics from politics to sports. However, as technology changed, newspapers struggled to meet the demands. Television and radio presented enough challenges to the industry, but nothing like what was to come. At the turn of the century, the birth of the World Wide Web shook the news industry, bringing limitless possibilities and challenges to the news industry. The internet was not bound by pages or print costs, making newspapers old news. In 2008, Forbes published an article titled "The Incredible Shrinking Newspaper," that began with a new description of print news. Thinner, lighter, skinner. There's a good chance your daily newspaper is a lot easier to lift off your front stoop than it used to be, the article began. Economic pressures and competition are brutal, forcing newspapers to slim down. More and more, people were going to the internet for information. Newspaper subscriptions and advertising revenues were decreasing. Newspapers were no longer even needed for classified advertising, as classified sites, such as Craigslist, provided free or less expensive ways to buy and sell online. With shrinking revenues, came shrinking papers and shrinking news coverage. Not only were many papers printing less pages, the size of the pages continued to get smaller and smaller over time as well. The article cited that some of the nation's largest papers, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post, had all narrowed page widths in order to save on printing costs. Despite the decline in newspapers, there was no decline in the need for news. Some newspapers tried to keep up with the changing market by offering online editions. CNN and the Chicago Tribune were some of the first media outlets to launch an online news site. Seeing the benefits of going digital, some papers even discontinued their print editions. Print media could no longer keep up. Digital news was faster, could be more widely circulated, and cost considerably less. Today, nearly half of all Americans get their news online rather than through print, television, or radio. More people say they get their news from social media sites than print sources, with 1 of 5 Americans saying they get their news through social media. However, the internet brought about some loss of credibility. Anyone could publish anything anywhere. Though sensationalism is far from a new development, recent years have brought about the fake news era of journalism, with internet sites that intentionally publish false information. Additionally, more and more Americans report a distrust in the media. A Pew Research Center survey of 10,618 U.S. adults found that more than half reported little to no trust in the media. 61% of those surveyed stated that they felt the new media ignores important issues. From these issues came the birth of citizen journalism. Feeling that they were either not getting the stories that mattered, whether intentionally or due to economic demands, citizens began filling the gap, using technology to their advantage. Anyone with a cell phone could record video of disasters, arrests, community events, and political meetings. Within seconds, videos could be uploaded and shared all over the internet. Though bringing about a great advancement in how news could be documented and communicated, citizen journalism lacked in journalistic integrity. Often citizen journalists are not trained in the ethical obligations of news reporting, provided fair, factual, and balanced information with proper accreditation of sources. Still, they provided a model, showing how news could be done in the digital era. Scioto County Daily News, like many other news organizations around the nation and around the world, has taken this model and launched the new face of the news industry, online news sites that provides quicker access, vaster coverage of topics, and even live streaming of local events prepared by experienced journalists. SCDN includes a staff of live reporters, videographers, writers, web producers, researchers, and marketing specialists who work to put out relevant, honest local news. Starting as a social media platform where citizens could share and exchange information, SCDN launched its news site nearly a year and a half ago, but still uses Facebook, Twitter and YouTube as outlets for sharing news stories and engaging with readers. The cost to produce the news is not free, but is much more economical than office buildings and printing presses. In just a few days, Scioto County Daily News will relaunch an enhanced version of their website. This marks an important milestone in the community. SCDN and similar news organizations in small towns across the country are advancing with technology and shaping the future of local news.